Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this edition of the Flagler Weather Update. This is 29th of June, 2025. That makes it Sunday. And this is our look at the weather ahead here in Flagler County for the next 7 days. Thank you for joining us. So we're taking a look at the satellite image, and you can see that our regular shower and thunderstorms, season is in progress and quite well in progress. The little orange blips represents lightning. Lots of leftover cloud cover here from the showers and storms that we had earlier today. So the activity is winding down a little bit, but we still have some lightning going on down here towards Treasure Coast and down here in SoFlo as storms are still developing ongoing there up in Georgia and such. And all of this leftover cloud will eventually fade away. So we're going to talk about tropics. Before we get there, let's talk about what's going on with the tropics and what's going on elsewhere. So I'm just going to skip our next few days. Thunderstorms are going to focus on the East Coast. To get more into that in just a moment. But this is a rainfall forecast for the next several days. Now, I will get zoomed in here in a little bit more detail. But we expect 2 to 3 inches of rain, maybe a little better than that for the next 7 days. And why is that? It's because we have an area of disturbed weather that's expected to develop over the region here. And we'll take a closer look at this in just a minute. The key point is, though, you might see a lot of sensationalism and stuff online and so forth. It is just too early to know if there's going to be any local effects from this system. But it's good to stay up to date because this is the season and this is when things can, begin to pop up and sometimes pop up quite rapidly. So let's take a closer look at it now. This is from the National Hurricane Center. Now, the one thing I want to point out is this is an area of concern. There's two things. Let's talk about Tropical Storm Barry at first. So Barry is our next tropical cyclone that is now in progress. And let's get to, let's see here. And you see the areas affected are going to be over here in Mexico, so no concern for us at all. And as this storm makes its way across this western part of the Bay of Campeche, it's a very small tropical cyclone, just barely tropical storm, and it is going to be making landfall here. Tropical storm warnings over here along the Mexican coast. Again, not a problem for us whatsoever. So of interest to us is this system here. And right now there's about a 20% chance of this getting organized. Now, this isn't here yet, and that's the main thing I want to make sure folks understand. So this is going to be due to a front that's going to be coming down from the north and stalling out. And sometimes when fronts stall out over the area, sometimes when conditions are right, they can spin up a little low pressure system, and then there's a chance that low pressure system could go tropical. So that very low chance of development is anywhere from the Gulf of Mexico out into the Atlantic Ocean. So let's go ahead and take a look at satellite imagery right now. Of course, you can see a lot of cloud over Florida. That front is still way up here, and we'll take a closer look at that. Barry is off the edge of the map here. Looking elsewhere in the tropics, you can still see some Saharan dust kind of mixed up in there, so, before the shadow gets it. But generally a little tropical wave here, but nothing really outstanding going on. And so the area here, again, you can see a little upper level low over the Bahamas. You can kind of see that spinning right there. That's really helping focus some of the moisture up over us. And all this moisture lingering here is going to be kind of squeezed out when that front gets closer to us. So let's talk about that now. Let's talk about this front. So let's get to the right time frame and let's get in here and take a closer look. So this is the way things stand right now. High pressure system over the area, but lots of moisture drawn in. Now notice this front starting to come in. You can see it coming in from the north. This is Monday. And then as we get to Tuesday, here comes that front now moving in a little closer. And let's back up a little bit and get to we can see days 3 through 7. So that front even gets further closer to us, like by Tuesday, by Wednesday, it kind of stalls out. And then it could try to spin up a low pressure system somewhere, either the Gulf or Atlantic, somewhere around here as that front begins to die out across the area. So regardless of what happens with the tropics, it's going to be somewhat unsettled. There's going to be more rain than we typically would see. It's not going to be a washout by any means. There'll be lots of dry spells, but this is a signal of some unsettled weather developing as we get into the end of this week and into the weekend. Now, potential for disruption of 4th of July, it's just too early to talk about that just yet. Now, we can see a fair amount of rainfall is expected somewhere in this region here. You can see the heavier amounts out over the Gulf, but Flagler County, we're not going to escape the rainfall, though not as much as some places along the Gulf are possibly going to get it. So let's talk about the upcoming week now, and let's go for low temperatures tonight. Generally looking at lows near 70 degrees for largely a good part of the county, including the US 1 FEC corridor here. 70 to 71, looking for low temperatures there. 70 out here by Andalusia, 70 out here by Cody's Corner, so about 70 or so, maybe even some upper 60s in a couple places, but and other places maybe some lower 70s there, but of course warmer near the ocean. Ocean temperatures cooled off a little bit. It's about 77 degrees, but still, it's still warmer temperatures by the ocean, where lows there in the mid 70s can be expected at the beaches. For tomorrow, look for high temperatures generally largely in the 80s, mid upper 80s, maybe about 86 in Palm Coast, 82, 83 Flagler Beach, 82 Marineland, Cody's Corner, Andalusia, mid 80s. That's because of the expected cloud cover with the unsettled weather that we're going to be experiencing. And then tomorrow night, again, largely kind of the same thing. Low 70s to near 70 inland, mid 70s beaches. And as we go through the rest of the week, we don't see that much change in our expected temperatures. We get into Wednesday, maybe a little bit warmer now. Temperatures closing in on 90, but just still highs in the 80s. But lows at night, still kind of a little bit warmer, but no big changes there. As we get into Thursday, again, staying in the 80s largely. As we get into Friday, staying in the 80s largely. This is the 4th of July. High temperatures along the beaches in the mid 80s over there. And low temperatures at night, again, in the 70s. Warmer at the beaches, cooler as you go inland. And then as we get into Saturday, look for temperatures peaking near 90 degrees, inland locations, but at the beaches, cooler there. And again, low temperatures at night, about the same. Let's talk about rainfall now, because that's going to be one of the stories of the weather this week. So rain chances as we go through tomorrow, pretty much close to a 90% chance for everybody. Maybe a little less at the coast there, maybe 80% at the beaches. Still, that's a good chance of rain. And then 90% at the inland locations. And why is it less at the beaches and more inland? It's got to do with the sea breeze. The sea breeze will sometimes prevent the storms from getting all the way to the beaches. So you could see rain there, and it's very likely you will see rain in Flagler Beach, but a little bit more likely at inland locations we'll see more of it. Now, of course, tomorrow night, let's back up a little bit. For tonight, rain chances generally right around 50%. And let's skip ahead to tomorrow night, generally right around 30%. And then as we go into Tuesday, still pretty high chance of rain across the county. And then about 30%, 40% at night. And then Wednesday, things get a little wetter. Look for about a 90% chance of rainfall across the entire if I could talk, first day with my tongue here. Across the county, 90 to 92% chance of rain. It does not mean it's going to rain the entire day, but it means that at least within this time frame from 8 o'clock in the morning to 8 o'clock in the evening, there's a 90% chance that every single place is going to see at least some rain at some point or another. And as we go into Thursday, about the same. And as we go into Friday, 4th of July, it's looking very unsettled still, with a really good chance of rain. Remember, as we get further out, the more variability that could be in the forecast. And then, of course, if anything develops tropical-wise, we will see those rain chances flux for that as well. And as we get into Saturday now, still about a 70% chance of rain getting into Saturday. Now, let's talk about wind. Is there going to be any concern with wind at all? Before we get out of that, let's talk about rainfall amounts. How much rain are we going to get? Well, we're going to skip ahead. Let's go days 1 through 7. So this is a 7-day rainfall forecast, and we're looking at 2 to 3 inches in Palm Coast, 3 to 4 inches beaches, except at Marineland, maybe 2 to 3 up there, 3 to 4 inches widely across the county. There could be some locally higher amounts. That's the rainfall for the next 7 days. Now, if we break this down a little bit, rainfall next 24 hours, 18 to 24 hours or so. Not all that much, maybe a tenth of an inch. Next 24 hours, solid, a half inch to an inch. Next 1 to 2 days, a half inch to an inch. And as we don't get until we get to like maybe Wednesday, Thursday is when we start to see those amounts really start to come up. So that tells us that as we get to the middle to the end of the week, that's going to be the better chances of getting some heavy rainfall. Now, we'll talk about wind. Is there going to be any concern with wind right now? So let's take a look at wind gusts. And through the week, we're generally staying, maybe, by Thursday, gusting up to 15 miles per hour and maybe gusting up to, 10 to 12 miles an hour. We don't see any significant wind concerns or anything. So whatever's going to happen is probably going to just bring us some extra rain is the way things are looking right now. But it looks to be a wet, unsettled week, especially from Wednesday onward. Again, does not mean it's going to rain the entire week, but there's a fair amount of rain coming, and it's going to be with us as we go through the entire week. And again, a quick review of the rain chances. You see high rain chances throughout the entire week. So let's go and take a look at air quality right now. Air quality is looking good. The forecast is for moderate air quality tomorrow, but we'll see if that, with the rain expected and all that, this forecast might change. So taking a look at long range now, how does the rain precipitation chances look in the longer range forecast? So this takes us. First, let's zoom in on Flagler County first. So let's get zoomed in and let's click on Palm Coast right there. So temperature forecast for the next 6 to 10 days. This takes us from the 5th of July to July 9th. We're looking at, on the average, above normal temperatures can be expected. With precipitation now, we'll see how that goes. We're looking at above normal precipitation expected, but just not by a wide margin. So right now, a 30% chance of above normal precipitation and equal chances of either above or near normal. Temperature-wise, though, 44% chance of above normal temperatures with that. So let's go further on into the future. And again, let's get zoomed in here so we are accurate with what our local expectations are. So we are looking from the 7th of July to July 13th, above normal temperatures for Florida, including Flagler County. Again, it's summertime. Of course, it's going to be hot, but this is registering hotter than normal temperatures. This isn't registering normal temperatures that we would see during summertime. That's what this means. So about a 50% chance of being above normal temperatures through the period of July 7th to July 13th. Now, there's a 33% chance of near normal and a 17% chance of below normal temperatures. Now, let's go to precipitation now, and we're looking at kind of just a slight chance of above normal precipitation, but equal chances of a near normal to a below normal precipitation. But we do need the rain, so we'll take that as we can get it. So let's talk about our drought index right now. Right now, Flagler County drought index is 234. Let's get to more details of that. What does that mean for us here? Well, we're generally in the better end of the drought index numbers. Usually when you get over 500, you start having problems. And right now we are not looking too bad as far as that is concerned, but we still have some wildfire issues going on. Currently there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wildfires in Flagler County. Of all of those, there's only one that's active, and this guy right here. It's about less than a tenth of an acre. There are crews on that one right now working on it, most likely a lightning strike. This one out here at the county line, half acre, that one is contained. The one that's near Bunnell, less than a tenth of an acre, most likely a lightning strike. I don't know for sure, but that's most likely what it is. And down here in Relay, same thing with these guys. This one here, though, in Relay, about 2.5 acres that burned out there before it was contained. And this one out here, less than a tenth. So no significant wildfire concerns, but we do see several that are in the county. So let's go ahead and bounce back to the National Weather Service. We're going to take a look at the beaches real quick here. How are things looking out there? So right now, we're still looking at a moderate rip current risk out there at the beaches. And taking a look here right now, water temperature 72 to 77 degrees. So those offshore winds has a tendency to bring the water temperature down as it pushes that warmer water away from the beaches and allows the cooler water down deep to come on up. So definitely some chilly water out there, cooler water if you get in the ocean, but a pretty good chance of showers and storms each day. Moderate rip current risk out there. And taking a look again at where we expect the thunderstorms to go. With the westerly flow, the storms will be generally pushing towards the east coast throughout the week. And again, it's going to depend if anything develops with that front. That could alter things a little bit, but that's going to be one of the things that we'll be watching. So anyways, that's going to wrap it up. We appreciate everyone taking time to tune in with us, and hope that this weather brief has been helpful to you. Everyone out there, have a great evening. And of course, if you're just joining us and you've missed it, you can rewind this because we will save it once we sign off the air here. So everybody have a great evening, and thank you.